Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Real Heroes Show. Nick here, and today I'm covering something different, something new to the channel, something we haven't done yet. That's right, I'm covering a Netflix original anime series called Record of Ragnarok. You can find it now on Netflix, streaming the entire first season. But before I dive in, do us a huge favor, hit that subscribe button. It's free. Give the video a like if you like anime, or if you like this video after watching it, or both. And hit the bell, little tiny bell. Turns on notifications for any future videos and every single piece of content that we upload to this channel. We really do appreciate it, and it helps out the channel a lot. So let's dive in. I won't keep you waiting. So the series is based on an original manga, but of course, like most manga, if you know about anime and manga, it gets adjusted for TV, for streamings on a weekly basis episodes, or like a Netflix anime, the entire season kind of gets updated or released out once. And depending on how well it does or doesn't do, it may or may not get a second season. So how does season 1 of Record of Ragnarok do? Well, it was created by a studio based in Japan called Graphica that does 3D CG and 2D animation. I'm a fan of this sort of anime style, being a longtime anime fan myself, going back to high school, which is about half a lifetime ago. So the premise of this anime is the gods meet every 1,000 years and determine whether or not humans or humankind should continue in time. Should they continue existing? At this point in this meeting, they're saying no. They're leaning towards nah, bye-bye humans. Cool, right? Cool for us. But there's a Valkyrie and the other Valkyries that say, yeah, we think the gods are wrong for doing this. So a particular Valkyrie called Brunhilde decides, you know what? I'm going to interfere in this meeting. I'm going to suggest Ragnarok. You might be thinking, where does Ragnarok sound familiar from? Thor Ragnarok from the MCU, kind of similar, but also kind of different. There's going to be a lot of people dying and some battles and et cetera, et cetera. But in this anime, there's going to be several bouts, actually about 13. That's right, 13 rounds of gods versus humans. Who do they pick? Well, you're probably going to be familiar with a lot of the gods from different mythologies. Some humans, but also not a lot of humans. There are quite a few that I looked in the list of who will be premiering in this anime. I'm like, who? But again, some research goes a long way. And then some of them that you'll see, you will be aware of and recognize and possibly know from some other facet of pop culture. So the first season comprises of 12 episodes, which is basically broken up into thirds. So there are 3 fights going a span of 4 episodes. So the first fight takes place between Thor, that's right, the god of thunder himself, and Lubu. You might know Lubu from a video game series called Dynasty Warriors. A huge fan back on PlayStation. He was a pain in the neck to fight. He whipped my ass and my friends' asses several times, actually probably multiple, possibly even hundreds of times, playing those games through and through. One thing to note is that the gods themselves are created in a different look, very uniquely, different than what we may be familiar with. The way Thor appeared was quite different to how I've always seen him in different varieties. But again, something different, something unique, which, yeah, I went along with it. Very exaggerated on his hammer, Mjolnir. One thing that takes place a lot in this series is a lot of backstory between the gods and the humans. I'd say there's probably a little bit more backstory on the human side than the gods, because there's not a lot to kind of go about with the gods. And then someone like Lubu, who people might not be familiar with, they do a good job at explaining who Lubu is, what he's about. And he's a real person. That's the cool thing, that these humans aren't just made up or fantasy. They're actually all real. So that's kind of cool. And we're kind of going against gods who aren't real. So take that in consideration, right? Some fake gods versus real human beings that have existed on our very planet. But it's an anime and it's all fiction, so who cares? It's kind of just going along for the ride for the fun. I thought the first fight was pretty cool. It had a slow build up and it was very anticlimactic. I'm going to be spoiling a lot here, so take that also into consideration. The first spoiler I'd say in this fight is that Thor wins. No surprise there. I kind of figured he would from the get-go. And again, not really knowing what to expect between who was going to be fighting who, but in this case, there's a caveat for the humans. The weapons they wield are actually other Valkyries in disguise, transmogrified into a spear that Lubu uses. But even then, in this bout, it's not enough for Lubu and the humans to win and gain a victory. So first victory goes to the gods. The second fight was between Zeus. That's right. Zeus and Adam, as Adam and Eve, the very first human being. I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't really expect Adam to come out there wearing a little leaf and all that stuff. It was a bit of a twist for Adam, though. Again, pretty interesting. He had a very distinctive power where he could read and imitate and deflect or reflect any power that he saw. So he beat the crap out of Zeus, which was pretty cool. It started off quick. The fight itself didn't really last that long, even though it took the span of 4 episodes. It very much seemed like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. And it was just a matter of time before one of the two got gassed and couldn't go any longer. And just when you thought one of them was about to get gassed or just got, Zeus, I thought Zeus was gone because Adam knocked the shit out of his head. Turns out, nope, he was just resting and went into another form and, then came back and, Adam just kept going at it, and then Adam got gassed and fell over and died, apparently. I thought that was kind of lame, story-wise. I think Adam should have clearly won that. I thought it would have been probably better for the story, better for the character of Adam, right? Because of who his backstory is and how the whole biblical references go. But now they gave it to Zeus. So, yeah, whatever. The third fight, though, was different. Different matchup between Poseidon and a Japanese swordsman by the name of Kojiro Sasaki. I thought that was really cool. Poseidon, who is Zeus's older brother, in this anime, Zeus is hella old. Poseidon looked hella young. Okay. But Kojiro Sasaki's backstory about a swordsman who loses and gives up, and he surrenders a lot. But when he comes back and he trains, and he's actually a genius because he is able to run the scenario hundreds of times, if not thousands of times, for every sort of play. It's almost like he plays chess with himself against his opponent in his head until he finds the very method and attack to beat him. And I thought he was going to lose his fight at one point, but he comes back and legit cuts off Poseidon's arms and torso in half. It was badass. Definitely my favorite fight of the 3 in this first season. Finally, humans gain a win. So at the very end of the episode, we do see where the next fight is going to be taking place. Actually in London, per the humans' request. Jack the Ripper. You probably heard of Jack the Ripper. A lot of the crowd watching in the anime was like, they were picking a serial killer to fight for humans. I'm like, I mean, he is good at killing, suffice to say. Who he's going against god-wise? Hercules, which is kind of a bit of a cop-out considering he's like half god, half human. I personally don't think he should be fighting in the tournament whatsoever, but I'm not the writer for this. I digress. It is what it is. It's a made-up story between false gods and humans. So, whatever. Anyway, as far as the show goes, apparently the manga was a lot better, and people really liked the manga more than the anime. And as far as the consensus from what I was able to find out, the show got about a 65% approval rating, anywhere ranging from 6.2 to 6.5 on the scale, which I'd say is pretty fair. That's about where my own score lies, between 6 and 6.5. I laughed. I thought there were some funny parts. Aphrodite is in it. She's in the crowd. There's like two guys that are holding up each one of her breasts because they're just so gigantic, which I thought that was humorous. But hey, whatever. And yeah, I think it's worth watching. If you're like anime and you like to see some fighting, and a bit of history and some, humans versus God fighting, I think it's worth a watch. Maybe watch it while you're doing some other things. I think that's acceptable. If you decide to watch the anime, come back here or message me, or message us rather, on Instagram or Twitter. Tell us what you think. And yeah, no official word on season 2. I don't know if it's gotten greenlit yet, or whether or not it will be on Netflix, or if it'll appear somewhere else, or not at all because of the mediocre reviews and scoring. So let me know what you think if you decide to watch it again. And again, remember to subscribe, like, turn notifications on, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.